Some people asked about importing a pad from China, so I did it. And here it is. It is fine. And if you don't want to watch anything else in the video, I'm going to give you a very short way to tell. If you AAA'd stuff in the DDR Extreme era, this probably isn't for you. If you sometimes could double A Sexy Planet to get extra stage in DDR Extreme, this is it. This is the one. Let me go into some more detail. The Step Maniacs pad is better in pretty much every way than this thing. It is also $500 or $600 more. That may not matter to you. So far, the lights are bright. The screws are not sharp. The best thing that I can liken this to is the difference between a Vuelix and a Chulix. They look effectively the same, but the death is in the details. This is effectively the design of a pump pad in a value engineered way. The parts are a little lighter. The parts are a little less robust than a commercial product. The thing I was most worried about was the bar, and the bar is fine. I am going to compare it at the end of this video after the unboxing footage with a DDR bar, and I'm also going to see if I can fit a pump bar on it just because I am old and my shoulders are creaky. There are a few things to talk about. Number one, if you do get this thing, unbox it outside. The crate was a disaster to get out of the house. You'll see the unboxing video in a minute here. I did that last night. A lot of nails. I can't stress how many nails. The total round trip time for me, I submitted my payment via PayPal to globalproducts.com on the 26th of January, 2024. And it finally arrived to me on April 3rd, 2024, 68 days. Those of you who have dealt with China before, that's pretty much right in the middle for LTL freight. Not a big deal. The first thing I did was tear it down and look at it. It uses a zoo sensor, which I had never heard of, but that's because I guess I'm a millennial dance gamer. They make a lot of new style, like Tunatham and Project Diva and stuff like that. So the wiring harness is whatever. The sensors appear to be some variant of an Easy to Dancer sensor. It's flat. There was like a weather stripping thing, and that's pretty much the only mod that I would make, unless you wanted to countersync, of course, because it is pretty good. The weather stripping makes it very, very bouncy, and you actually feel the thing depress. So there are some silicon strips that are squishy but not bouncy, and I am probably going to use that. Right now, I have cut up cardboard boxes in there, and honestly, until they compress, it feels okay. You see I still have the top covers off, so I gotta put this all back together. You do need to kind of take it apart the entire way to take off all of the protective sealing and stuff, but you're probably going to want to do that anyway. And since it's a nice new pad, you're not dealing with strip screws. You're not dealing with anything too crazy. There are some sharp edges. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. It does come with looks like a 5-volt power supply and a USB-C to USB-A cable. Some of the things that I have heard about these pads are that the screws are sharp. I did not experience that. These are fine. The edges are sharp, but they are deburred. So I don't have a habit of running my fingers across sharp edges, so it's a non-issue for me. And that the electrical system in the pad was a nightmare. Somebody actually said nightmare. It's a panel pass through to 5-volt. It would take significant effort to harm yourself with this. Now, some of the ones I've seen online have AC power going right into them. Maybe that's what they were talking about. I'm sure I don't know. If you could manage You'd probably have it would probably be more dangerous that you would ingest some of this white caulk hot glue stuff that they used. Then I don't even know how you could conceive of this as an electrical hazard. It is not an electrical hazard. Um, so realistically, at this point in the market, you've got LTEC at the very low end, which is for the passing fancy. They are readily available and they are reasonably quickly available. And then I would say a firm, like this is 3 times as much money. I think an LTEC's $500. This was $1,600 on the nose, PayPal to that guy. And so we'll call it 3 times more money than an LTEC. I think this pad is 3 times more. I think this is more than 3 times better than an LTEC. This is a very arcade-like experience. And if you spend some time doing some modding to the sensors, I think you could get, and I'm going to try, you could get a really good performance out of this thing. I think this is a fine pad. I think if you're in it for actual perfect attack or actual stamina, I think the Step Maniacs pad is a better product. And now I think they've sorted out some of their supply chain stuff, so you can actually get them. If we were in a situation where you couldn't get a Step Maniacs pad, I would say that this is a perfectly fine thing to get at home. I mentioned in my unboxing video that I got X arrows and I got the wrong art. But as my friend Kelly is fond of saying, my feet don't have eyes and I really don't care. The lights are nice and bright, and I'm playing ITG and it works fine. That's really all there is to say. Some of the tools you'll need a 24 mil wrench. You will need, they include an Allen wrench for the bar and the pads, but you're going to want a number 4 bit with a drill driver to take that apart. You're going to need, a screwdriver, a bit for your drill driver for that. Recommend a magnetic parts cup. You'll need a knife. You'll need a hammer to get the crate open. Probably some sort of silicone. I'm going to research that and post a link to what I'm going to use. But realistically, heavy cardstock, cardboard, anything to kind of fill the gap that was filled with that weather strip. And that's pretty much it. And you're off to the races. I have almost immediately broken this USB-C cable. It is the most AliExpress USB-C to USB-A cable, but again, readily available. There's no magic here. This is a solved problem. And somebody finally did it. There's some evidence of some hand done things here, but if you need a pad and you don't mind waiting 68 days for it, this thing is fine. Anyway, some more footage. I'm going to do some of the inside of the pads, some of the modding. You'll see that here, but the TLDR is, this thing is good. It's not as good as the Step Maniacs. That's all I got for you. Guess I'll put the microphone on. We're going to unbox this thing. First thing, we got a little Chinesium box here. See that? We're going to set that over there. This bar looks pretty good. We're going to compare it to a DDR bar in a little bit. And now we're going to unbox this thing. I'm going to probably speed this up and crowbar and hammer it. Okay. I'm gonna set this thing down right here. It says glass, handle with care. I don't know that that's the case, but we'll see. Make sure we're in the frame. I'm gonna back it up a little. Hello. We're gonna open her up. Part's not right. That's okay. Now I ordered an X style, so you know, the black HD cab version is what I ordered. The gold one is available. The white cab is available. It's just different stickers, right? Here's that screw I was talking about. Nice. We'll set that over there where I'm sure to never find it again. Yeah, not gonna lie, my friends, this thing looks pretty sweet. Where did that screw come out of? Where did that screw come out of? Why is this one countersunk but these aren't? Okay. It's okay. Let's get it out of the pack here. Let's get it out of the pack. Ooh. So there's wooden supports, just like in real pads. And there are no feeties here, so we're going to hope they're in that shoebox right there. But let's get the wrapping out. My only hope with this video is that someone takes note of me manhandling these pads and balancing and being dumb. There we go. Okay. Hiya. All right. Yeah. So my art is wrong, which, whatever. Your feet don't have eyes. So we're going to call that a whatever. And again, checking if I'm in frame. I am. So I have the X arrows, as you can see. Am I dying here on the batteries? All right. We're going to talk about these pads a little bit more in depth. Let's take them apart here. See, they come apart pretty easily. In my initial intro video, I said that I put some cardboard in here. It compressed, as you might expect cardboard to compress. So what I ended up doing was a piece of cardstock, which in this case is a thank you card, with 8 layers of Gorilla Tape. And it goes right under there. And it feels solid and wonderful. So now I'm going to talk, I'm going to do a transition while I move the camera. It's probably going to be shaky and horrible. So these corners are fine. The sensor trigger has a lot more play than a standard pad. All of these are wired in parallel. So you have, if any one of these goes off, it fires on the sensor. The lights are actually too bright for me. I am going to put a piece of paper or something in here. It's too bright for me. It's very dark in my basement here, although you can see the daylight, and it actively like shines on my ceiling. So I don't love that. This foam is already falling apart, so that's probably going to get replaced at some point. But these edges are okay. This is like a piece of shelving. You can see it's got like a wood laminate on it, so that's interesting. Other than that, pretty standard stuff down here. Wiring is certainly clean enough. I'm pretty sure this hair in here is mine, so kind of whatever. Let's take apart this dead panel. Another thing, this metal sure is soft, and I know we're going to be scratching this up a little bit. I'm not sure that it matters, but just something to know. Interestingly, these are powder coated, which is nice. Only 2 screws, and one of my panels was super duper loose. So when you take everything apart to take the wrappers off, just tighten everything up, snug it up. This is an uninteresting view of an uninteresting part of this pad. So as you can see, here it is. Some metal shavings from when they put it together, but it's clean. It's got drainage holes, or whatever we call the speed holes down here. Other than that, pretty standard, easy enough. Transition to the sensor. This is the zoo sensor that I was talking about earlier. This wiring, even though it uses the same connectors as a pump pad, is not the same. So if you intend to change this out with pump parts and standard hardware, you'll have to get a stack or a pump pad, I can't speak, pump pad IO or something like it. The second 2 wires here are the 12 volt for the lights, and that is not how pump is. So that goes to this little board, which has a USB connector. I don't know what this network cable is for, or this RJ45 here. Presumably it's to add more sensor blocks. And this 5 volt connector here is for power. Interestingly, this pad does not do anything unless it has power, and USB-C is active, which means that if you have it on, but the USB cable is not connected to a computer, you got nothing. It's not going to work. It's not going to light up. So you have to have it into a computer for that to work. And let's show this little thing down here. Here is our connection panel. It's the, there's the power connector, right? Here you go. Oh, it's 12 volt. I said 5 volt earlier. And the USB-C cable that I broke immediately, but still works. And your on-off rocker switch. So that's pretty much it. All right, I reconsidered and thought that people might want to actually see the inner workings of this. So this is very similar to a pump bracket retainer. And an aside, so this is a very dirty, but this is from a pump pad, and you can see that they are very similar, but the one from this pad is definitely thinner. It is of poorer quality. I'm not sure it matters, but here's the side by side. Right? They look pretty much the same. They are effectively the same. This one is just, I mean, it weighs half as much. So there's that. This thing is kind of glued on there. some kind of silicon, I guess. We're gonna put this thing back. Disgusting.
Disgusting!
Woof. And this is, I don't know, I said Easy 2 because it certainly looks like one of those Easy 2 sensors from years ago. But it seems to actually work pretty well. We'll see how it holds up, but you can see through it. I don't know. Anyway, there's that. For my next topic, I'm going to get this glue off my hands. As far as the bars go, the pads bar is slightly taller. I don't know if you can see this. Essentially, the DDR bar is the shortest, pump is the second highest, and then the bar that is included with this is the tallest. The DDR bar will not fit in the base. The pump bar will fit with some coercion and very few bolts. The bar itself is fine. It is lighter weight than either the pump bar or the DDR bar. Obviously, all of its mounting points are useful, but they are not all needed in a home use situation. So I am personally going to use the pump bar, and I'll show you what that looks like. So thanks to friction and at least two of the bolts lining up, the pump bar fits fine, and it is solid. So this is how it's going to stay for me. I'm going to discard, or at least keep elsewhere, the trim pieces, but the bar that comes with it is totally fine. The pump bar is obviously much wider, which is nice. Yeah, interesting point. The pad feet on these set up very high, just like a normal pad, a manufacturer pad. So typically on a DDR machine or a pump machine, I take the wheels off and put the feet the whole way down. An interesting point of quality, I guess, is that these actually have replaceable pad feet. If you can see this here, you can just unscrew this and put something else in there, which is kind of cool. In the process of taking these wheels off, these are not secure very well on the other side. So use your impact driver, but back them out slowly, because one of my, either if there's welds back there, they're not very good, or the captive nut or whatever was not very good on one of these, so they fight with you a little bit. Of course, those two went fine. Let's try this one. There we go. Yeah, somebody sent that a little too hard, so just be careful there. And just in case you wanted to know, these do not fit, even though there are screws there in the back. Maybe they fit pump ones. I haven't had those in a long time.